Oh, we're going to be on a plant-based diet on this episode, folks.
Oh God, we are not pod people.
We're not pod people. Yes, we're definitely not. What's happening, everybody? Welcome to Batman the Fan-imated stream. I'm Dave the Film Junkie, of course. With me, as always, Mr. Scott McClellan. How you doing, sir?
Doing fine. This is a very interesting flavor. I like it.
What is it?
Samuel Adams Old Fezziwig.
Old Fezziwig. Yeah, interesting. I love Sam Adams. So
I love Sam Adams too. I mean, do you get the reference?
Fezziwig.
Fezziwig.
No, I don't get it.
It's Christmas Carol. It's Scrooge's old boss. You know.
Okay, I was thinking like it had to do with something with this episode.
No, not at all.
That's where my brain went. I was like, what does it have to do with this episode?
Nothing at all. It's a Christmas Carol. It's the season. You know, okay, since we don't actually get to do a Christmas-based episode because we watch these things in production order.
I know, true. We can't do it around. Yeah, I don't think is there any other Christmas episodes that we? Yes, right.
Well, there's one. The season 3 premiere of Batman the Animated Series is Holiday Nights, KNIGHTS, and then once we get into Justice League, there's Comfort and Joy.
Gotcha. There you go. And Tet right here had a very good comparison right here. Reminds me of WandaVision, and I went, you know what?
I get it. Yeah, you know, but because we'll get into when we talk about the pod people. I mean, there's lots of the 1950s like callbacks in this episode are very strong.
Yeah. Let's go on, Steph. Of course, we had a little dinner tonight with Mama Film Junkie, which I'm sure she'll pop in. Had some salmon, which was absolutely delicious. So good stuff.
I had smoked salmon on I had smoked salmon on wheat thins with cream cheese last night at a Christmas party, and that sounds pretty good.
Oh, so you already had a Christmas party with your? Oh, was it like I remember you posting something? Did you already have a Christmas party at your new job?
Well, the company Christmas party was last Tuesday, and then last night was and then last night was my Sunday school class.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was like, I saw that. I was like, and I said, yeah, you posted it on like a Tuesday. I was like, well, that's a weird night for a.
Well, we rented the place out, so you know it worked out.
Nothing wrong with that, I guess. You know, I just thought Tuesday, interesting night choice. I think anytime that I've had Christmas parties, I usually Fridays or Saturdays, but whatever, it's fine. Hopefully, they didn't expect anybody to show up being all perky the next day.
We're fine.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, we're talking about of course House and Garden. When it comes to
episode, I've always really enjoyed this episode.
And what you said last week too, which was totally rang true, because you're like, oh, it reminds me of a Goosebumps book, and I was like, I immediately was like, oh yeah, Stay Out of the Basement, which is the second one of the Goosebumps books, which, yes, if you've watched that, you would totally understand. Just even seeing the cover of it, you totally understand.
The cover. Oh, my God. The
covers were so good on Goosebumps. They were
so good.
Yeah, the cover is literally like a hand that that was green and looked plant-like with little leaves coming in, and then you see like the basement door, and it's kind of just creeping out of there. It's just so freaking.
I love that book, and yeah, totally. Like when you get to the end of this episode, you're like, oh boy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because oh man, this episode. But yeah, that's a good comparison, Ted, about the WandaVision thing. I was like, it's pretty interesting right there. I mean, we have Pamela Isley, and we're thinking, oh, is she reformed? Of course she's not. She's freaking Poison Ivy. But man, does she do a good job of kind of, making it sound like she's reformed in this episode. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. I love how this episode starts off with most of the shots are from the POV of the creature.
Yeah.
And I think that is so awesome to like spend like the first minute or so as if you are looking through the creature's eyes itself. I think it's a cool way to open the episode.
It is, and he's like scaling the building, of course, and he's going to break into somewhere and try to get something. Of course, I mean that's what he's doing. But yeah, and it's it's a creepy looking creature. I mean, you don't really get a sense of what the creature fully looks like till till later in the episode. Huh?
Like
They kind of
two-thirds through the episode.
yeah, they keep the creature put in hidden, but it's like some kind of weird looking, plant like creature or whatever the hell. And I mean, yeah,
Just looking like a big ass cactus.
yeah, there you go. Like there you go. That's actually a perfect way. I couldn't explain. I was like, he kind of has a Salmon Grundy look, but not really. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I didn't even make that connection. But
yeah. I thought that like at first, yeah, he's got like a Salmon Grundy kind of look, but of course, but yeah, he's got these crazy claws, and it's just, it's. But yeah, that's actually better. It's like a live walking cactus. And that's what, yeah. So of course he basically just steals. I forgot exactly because I watched this yesterday, and I'm like blanking. What did he steal out of that safe?
I think it's like jewels and
It
stuff.
was just jewels. It wasn't anything like that Pam actually would end up needing later on. But of course, there's like the rich dude in the robe shows up, and doesn't he gets scratched too because they of course get the traces of poison through the
Right.
through
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
claws. Yeah, because Gordon shows up, they're in the crime lab and looking at this poison. And then, of course, Batman just, you always wonder, how long does Batman just stand there in the shadows before he knows he has to make that entrance? I love
Or
that.
before he says, "Hi, Jim."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just because he just pops out of the shadows and immediately is like, hey, guys.
I'm here. What's going
I'm
on?
here, and do we not think this is poison ivy? Of course, it's poison ivy. How can it not be poison ivy? Because of when they're looking at where this poison is coming from, and yeah, so he thinks that, and yeah, and then when after all that, they confront Pam, and my
Well,
God,
hold on. Before you get to
okay,
there, I
okay,
want to bring up something that I thought was a very interesting because this is a Paul Dini written episode,
mm-hmm.
directed by Boyd Kirkland. And I thought it was interesting when Gordon was like, I don't think Pamela would be interested in single men anymore. And I was a little surprised that they wrote the episode to the point that Batman, one, doesn't know that she's been released from Arkham, and
True.
two, doesn't know that she's gotten married. Like, I'm sitting here going, wouldn't Batman be like on top
Good
of all
point.
of this?
Good point, because she's been out, what they say, like 6 months, right? Or something like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
She's been reformed. She's been out for 6 months. She's married. And yeah, you think that Batman, I mean, he's got a lot of people to watch over. He's got a rogues gallery that he's got to keep
Yeah, but
tabs on.
sometimes you get like that Bat God, that the sort of
Yeah.
Bat God thing where Batman just seems to be aware of like
True.
everything.
It maybe could be one of those things where it benefited for the story.
Oh, it probably benefits for the
Yeah.
story because you have to, it works for the writing for him to be like totally convinced. Like, I mean, of course it's Poison Ivy. Like,
Yeah.
who else would this be? And for
Yeah.
Gordon to like throw that surprise at him to be like, well, actually,
Yeah, and you think that since it's poison ivy, I mean, she literally will kill people just by kissing them, and there's all kinds of things. Like she's like probably, I mean, they're all fairly deadly and everything like that when it comes to Rose Gallery, but hers is a little bit different because she's using like toxins and in the ways that she has. I mean, for God's sakes, she almost killed his best friend before he turned into one of his villains, at one point. So
we used to date. I still love that line from Almost Got Him. And then I love how all the other goons are terrible. Oh,
so good. That's so good.
good.
But yeah, so yeah. Then we get to the point where Pam. I mean, she lays it on pretty good. And then if you're watching this episode fresh, you're going, come on, and even Batman's probably going, really? Do you think that that she's actually been reformed and everything like that?
Well, he doesn't because of what he ends up doing later in the episode.
Very
But
true.
there were some interesting tidbits in the dialogue that I picked out. Like, she talked about the years,
Yeah.
of us going back and forth. I was like, oh, so years have happened now. Like they
was
play
weird.
they play with time a lot in this series. That's like, so how long has it been since she first showed up in the first season? Like,
True.
it's
Like, where's the time? Yeah. because they never give a definitive time of like how many years. I mean, we've kind of broken it down a couple of times, especially with like the Robin's Reckoning episodes and stuff like that, and trying to figure out how old is Bruce or how many years has he's been Batman or all that stuff. But yeah, when it comes to how many years has a villain been around, I mean, yeah, she does. There is some dialogue that kind of talks about that. But yeah, she seems like she's found her white picket fence and
Yes.
everything, and she's totally reformed. And it's just you got these two kids that come around, and it's funny too because just seeing the kids, you do kind of go like, oh, yeah, these kids look weird. Like
Well,
there's
they also
something.
look exactly like their dad.
Yes, which of course there's a reason, but it's just like I remember just like because watching the episode and when it started, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it all started flowing back to me, and I'm like, all right, I remember how this ends and everything, and then just looking at it closely and just going, wow, yeah, these kids look like they look exactly, well, yeah, like the dad, and you're going, oh, it's already
yeah.
like kind of just given to you right there, like why do they look so much like their dad and everything. So it was just funny.
I do, however, really appreciate, and I don't think this was introduced in the comics previously. I think this was probably Paul Dini adding a little twist. But I loved how emotional Ivy gets when she talks about the fact that she is actually incapable of having children. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was a really, really well written part of this story because
Yeah.
it really ties into honestly the gut punch of an ending that this episode ends up having.
It kind
You
of
know,
does because of her her system,
her immunity. Yeah,
her immunity, because I mean obviously it's been touched about when it comes to previous episodes like the Harley and Ivy episode where she's basically immune to like all kinds of toxins and stuff like that where other people would just absolutely die. So then it's like she can't carry a baby inside her because of that thing of that.
right. Because her system would literally
Kill it.
attack it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, man, talk about some birth control right there. Anyways, but yeah, but she does talk about, hey, yeah, she lays it on like that. So she's very convincing
because
about
I
all
don't think
this.
that's a lie, though.
Yeah,
That's the
that part's not the
thing.
lie.
That
Well,
part's not the lie. I
I
think
get
I
it.
think that is what she wants. No, some part of her does want that, and
Yeah,
I think that's what makes it. Once again, Dini does a great job of like really humanizing these villains. I feel like that's a really interesting aspect to Ivy's character in
yeah.
this episode.
You feel sympathy for her, and when we get to the end, you really do. You're kind of go,
You
shit.
really do,
Well, you're like,
yeah.
goddamn, like, I feel bad. But yeah, you're right. You're right. And then, of course, this is not just a Batman episode. We have a it's a Robin episode too. It's a Batman and Robin episode.
Oh, and
So,
Dick being a player.
oh yeah, study dates. So yeah, and his study date. I love how she's all she already knew the game, but she was still, of course, playing, oh yeah, you really study, huh? Like kind of that whole thing of like,
Yes.
well,
By the
yeah.
way, Cindy is a voice you would know.
Oh God, who is she?
It's Megan Mullally.
No shit. Oh
Yeah.
wow. Did not know. Wow, that's pretty good. Oh wow. Would not even guess. I didn't even think about it either. I thought, nah, it's probably a throwaway like voice that I probably don't know about. But there you go. Oh wow. Mrs. What's his name? I always because she's married to what's his name. Of course, she was on
Will
Megan
and
Mullally,
Grace.
Will and Grace.
She
But
was
who's she
Karen.
married? Who's she married? Yeah, who's she married to? The fuck, I can't remember his name. Somebody will probably say it in the chat. The dude, he was in
The
Parks
dude,
and
right? The
Recs.
dude.
Yeah, the dude, Parks and Recs, and with the mustache. I'm totally just blanking on his
Oh,
name.
that guy. I don't know his
Yeah,
name, but
yeah, but
oh,
you know who I'm
okay.
talking about. You know
I
what
know
I'm
you're
talking.
talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they've been married for a long time. But yeah. Yeah, I was trying to goddamn. Yeah, Nick Offerman. Thank
Nick
you.
Offerman.
Yes,
Oh, okay.
pretty fly for a Filipino guy. I appreciate that. Yeah, they've been married for a bit. I always like it when I've heard them on podcasts and they talk about each other. They seem like they have a fun marriage. Anyways, so yeah, so we have that, and then of course, Mr. Cock Blocker Batman has to call.
Oh my God, that is just so like I didn't think you'd call tonight. Of course, Cindy
Yeah,
totally thinks it's a girl. I
of
mean,
course. And it's just like, right when he was about to move in and make his move, Dick got cock blocked by Batman. And I like how, like, he's I didn't know you were gonna call tonight. And then of course she leaves. And he goes, "Why, do you have company?" And then it was just, and then he's like, "Well, not anymore." And he goes, "Sorry."
All right. I know. I actually appreciate the fact that Batman was like, sorry. Like you actually felt like he wasn't being a smartass. Like Bruce was like legitimately like, oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
He's all, but there's a teacher at your university. His name is Dr. Carlisle, who is now married to Pam Isley. But I need you to kind of like look in on him because this is weird. Why would he marry Poison Ivy? So
Right.
So it's just sorry, man. But I'll make it up to you maybe later. Who knows? But I think Dick will be fine. Like I said, he's a little bit of a player, so I'm sure he'll, after all said and done, he'll get her back, and they'll have their study date. And
especially after what happens next when Big Green and Monstery decides to come like busting through the door.
Exactly. That's right. He gets attacked. Now Dick gets attacked. And then you kind of go in like, I mean, that's a cool little like shot. The before the commercial shot.
Yeah,
right?
because he's still in shadow. Like I really like how they kept the monster hidden. It's a really cool way. Like you legitimately do not get a full-on reveal of this creature until near the end of the episode.
It's a horror movie episode. It really
is.
They're doing a great job of keeping this monster hidden. And then, of course, you're like, it's got to be Poison Ivy. And you're like, I don't, this ruse that she's given us right here, partially seems authentic, but it's not. It's almost like M. Night Shyamalan could have freaking directed this episode for all we, and it's just the way it is, like keeping the monster in the shadows. And then, of course, the twist that we end up getting. And he gets little, and you see like that flash, like when it goes, like
and like the idea that like, because we can't actually see someone actually hit, we have to have that light flash to hit home the fact that an impact has happened.
So intense. And then of course we cut to Gordon, the police hall at Dick's dorm, and even Bruce is there. And did you notice Bruce's clothing?
Yes, I did. Yes,
the same color scheme, more casual.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely.
That's what I wrote. I wrote Bruce wearing same colors, but more casual. I was like, oh yeah, it's still got that, that brown
yellow shirt,
yellow kind of thing going on, that little color scheme. But it's like, it's not the suit, it's not the button, it's not buttoned up, there's no tie. It's just kind of, he's a little bit more casual with it. I just thought that was kind of cool.
Well, and then of course he gets in his own car.
Yeah.
And of course he's realizing that, Dick was only targeted because Bruce Wayne was the target, sticking with the whole rich bachelor theme that's been going on with the victims. Totally Ivy's MO, by the way. And then, he's driving himself, and then the monster's in the back seat.
Yeah.
And I loved it because I recognize the voice of the monster too.
Oh, who's the voice?
Okay, now this is not going to be a name. This is going to be a voice actor name.
Okay.
Like this is not a star kind of name, but it's Jim Cummings.
Jim Cummings. Okay, who's that?
Okay, you will recognize him as Darkwing Duck, and the modern voices of Winnie the Pooh and Tigger.
Oh wow! No, that's pretty cool.
And Baloo.
Oh, like, also Baloo.
Wow. Baloo. Like Jim Cummings is one of those voices. Oh, and funny enough, if you listen, this is my tangent, but I think Jim Cummings is just one of those voice actors that you just go like, you are like incredible and versatile, and like you've heard him in like everything.
Yeah.
Kind of. But in Lion King, there's a moment towards the very end of Be Prepared. Like Jeremy Irons is doing most of Be Prepared.
Yeah.
But there is one moment at the end where it becomes Jim Cummings to kind of like sing the end of the song.
Interesting. Wow.
And if you're listening to Be Prepared, you hear it.
That's interesting.
It becomes okay. This is where my nerd part kicks in, because it's the part where he goes, even you can't be caught unawares. Now prepare for the coup of the century. be prepared for the murkiest sky. And as soon as it gets into meticulous planning, tenacity spanning, a case of denial will soon will I'll be king undisputed. And as soon as you get to that, if you listen, it stops being Jeremy Irons and it starts being Jim Cummings.
Interesting. God, did anybody think we were going to get that education tonight? I didn't. No, neither did you. That's so awesome. So, I mean, I'm sure that it was probably one of those things where it's like, well, Jeremy, try it out. And then maybe it just didn't work when it got to those notes because Jeremy Irons, he's not a singer.
No, he's not, because he talks things. He talks things most of the of the
he's
song.
got a fantastic voice when it comes to talking, but singing's a whole different thing. So they were like, all right, we're gonna have to carry it over to this guy over here. And I'm sure he was probably perfectly okay with it because he probably was like, do the whole thing. But he's like, no, we'll have you do a little bit. And that's awesome. That's awesome right there. That is very interesting.
Yeah, because Jim Cummings also, if you've watched, oh my God, here's another one. He did a lot of Disney. He did a lot of Disney. Princess and the Frog.
Okay. Yeah.
You know that movie?
Yes, I know that movie.
Jim Cummings is the voice of the Cajun lightning bug.
Okay. Trying to remember that. I remember I watched it a long time ago. But
I love that movie. I love the movie. But he's the one who's doing "Old Molchari," he's the when they get into the really Cajun sounding lightning bugs. He's the voice of the Cajun sounding lightning bug. Because, like I said, you can't watch a Disney thing that Jim Cummings was not.
Yeah, he's
a voice in.
Yeah, that's awesome right there. And here he is as this creature
that is now he's got that voice.
Yes. And then of course he's making ransom demands too to Bruce Wayne and just like, tell him like, hey, you want to see your boy back? Well, how much money was it? I forgot to write how much money it was. It was a lot
like
of money.
12 million or something.
12 million or something like that. Yeah. And then of course he gives him like a nice little like, and just kind of like rams his like head into like the steering wheel, I think, right? And then and then everything gets all crazy and he just leaps right out of the freaking car. And Bruce, luckily no traffic.
I know, right? Just happens to be a completely deserted road.
Yeah, conveniently no traffic. So then Bruce can actually, do that whole thing where he gets out of the car and he's like, oh, and just kind of like what the hell just happened? And then of course cut to where he's basically loading up the money and preparing for this ransom and telling Alfred the plan and everything. So just some Alfred in this episode, which is always good.
But then I love it because then before he actually goes to pay the ransom, he does that surveillance of Ivy. One, I love the arrangement of the Batman the Animated Series theme that plays while he's surveilling. Because if you listen really carefully, you hear the dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I love how he talks about, he's like, I'm not even sure, she even returned a video, even paid the late fee. I'm like, oh, wow, that's dating ourselves. Returning a video to the store and paying the late fee.
He's playing I know, man. Remember those days? Oh, and if you didn't rewind, that was also
that was also a fee.
Yeah, man. Jeez. Though back in our days, kids, yes, when you rented a videotape, you had to rewind it, and there was things called a rewinder.
Yes, I had one of those.
Oh yeah, so did we. And my mom would always say, "Do never rewind a videotape in the VCR because it would hurt the VCR. Use a rewinder because that's specifically what it's for." And not to mention, it did it.
Oh no, the rewinders were like ridiculously fast.
Good Lord, you just pop that thing in there and pop it down, and just it'd be done in like 30 seconds. But never do it on the VCR because you never know. It could mess up the VCR a little bit if you just like.
I think the idea was just that it would just wear out the motor. I think that.
Yeah. And he didn't want to do that when it came to the good old VCR. Jeez, kids today will never know the struggles about all that. So, and cassette tapes. Jeez, we can go on a whole tangent about that, but we're not because we have Batman surveilling Pamela and she's buying squash and all this kind of stuff. And returning videotapes. And, it's just one of those things where Batman just fails to believe it. And then, of course, he's even back at her house. And then all of a sudden you start going, as soon as he's like on the rooftop and there's vines on the rooftop, you're like, Batman. And sure enough, what happens?
The vines attack him.
They come alive and grab him.
But then they just gently drop him down the ground.
Because she's just kind of a step ahead and going like, Batman, what are you doing? Hey, you don't believe me and all this stuff, and just continues the ruse.
Yes, very much so. But Batman even kind of has that moment that in 2 episodes. No, sorry. Not 2 episodes, I'm thinking of the wrong one. But he has a moment with Ivy that reminds me a lot of the end of Harley's Holiday.
Okay.
That we haven't gotten to yet, but we will in a few episodes. But like that sense that Batman really, like, Batman actually hopes the villains have, like,
he even says that. He really hopes that she has. I mean, he's talking to Alfred. He's got, which I thought was weird before he was talking. He had like a whole earpiece like outside his cowl, and I'm like
a complete headset going
I know. I'm
on.
like, dude, don't you have something built into your freaking cowl, man? And maybe they just wanted to emphasize that visually. I don't know. It was just kind of funny to me that he was wearing like an actual
Well, you know what? That's actually a good thing, because think about the series. Has he ever had like the magical like earpiece? Like anytime he's ever really talked to Alfred,
that's a good point.
He's had a phone out, or he's been in a vehicle. Have we really ever done anything where they've had like the magical like earpiece kind of number going on?
That is interesting. Yeah, you're probably right. So, I mean, again, and it's like, I mean, I think I automatically just think of like Batman Begins, like when he's making the cowl, and he has like you actually see him
like install it into the cowl,
installing into like one of the ears, and goes right into like where his ear would be. So I don't know. I think I would just had that on the brain right there, and then Ivy just says that she's for the first time she's actually happy, and Batman's just kind of going like, well, shit. I don't know. I guess.
I also love the fact that he calls her Mrs. Carl. He says, "You too, Mrs. Carlisle."
Yeah. He really wants to believe this.
Yeah.
But he's still Batman and she's still her. So it's like, his gut is still going, no, not there. And then we cut to, of course, Bruce showing up to the dock to pay that ransom to get.
Oh man, the outfit he's wearing, like those are some duds. I mean,
but I'm laughing because the way I wrote out the note, I said Bruce shows up at the dock to get Dick. That's right. I mean, I know I went there. God damn it. I am such a child. Guys, I'm such a child.
Man child.
I know.
Steph, seriously, slap him around a little bit. Come on.
Nighthawk needs to put me. She'd laugh at that too. What are you talking about? She would root for that joke. But I did write that, and I'm like, good Lord. I was like, I remember even after I wrote it, and I was like, wow, that sounds funny. It'll be funny for the show.
Well, at least when you wrote the note, at least you weren't trying to make a joke as you wrote the note.
I promise you, because I just typed out Bruce shows up at the dock to get Dick, and then I just went, that does not sound right at all. And we've had these jokes before too, because I mean it's inconvenient that the whole that it's Dick Grayson. How you're not gonna say Richard.
I still love the fact that DC Comics actually really played it. Remember in the New 52 when Dick died after Forever Evil, and then he became like the super agent in that Grayson book?
Yes.
Which, by the way, Grayson was a great series. If you never read that. But I remember that the ads actually said, "You don't know Dick." And I was like,
you lean into it.
I mean,
it's hard not to. But besides that, and that tangent right there, Bruce gets, of course, attacked by the plant creature again.
Which, by the way, finally, when we get the full reveal, the hair should have given away what the twist was going to be.
A little bit, because
it's like Carlisle's hair.
Yes, exactly. And then Bruce gets scratched, and you're like, oh shit, poison, freaking nails, claws, what's going on? Falls into the water. And then when he gets out of the water, guess what? He was prepared. It's freaking Bruce Wayne. It's Batman.
He had the vest on.
He had the vest on. I was like, oh yeah. I totally went like, wait a minute, Bruce gets scratched? Totally forgot. And then when he gets out, he just reveals that he had the whole protective vest on. So He's good because he's freaking Batman. That's good. And then of course the creature then is about to throw Dick off the dock, and who's all tied off and everything like that. And then Batman just comes in on like a
Jet
wave
ski.
runner, ski boat, whatever you want to call it, ski, whatever the hell, jet ski, I guess you could say. I just like that entrance because it's a cool little entrance. It's like
He's like,
all right, yeah.
"Vroom."
I'm like, I think that's the only time we see this Bat vehicle. I don't think
actually think
do we?
yes, Dick has
Oh.
something similar to it later on in the third season. But
Mm.
yeah, I do think this is the last time we see the Bat jet ski.
The Bat jet ski. It's so freaking cool. And then of course, when fighting him, he slices off his claws because obviously that's his weapon right there. And then there's like a line right here. Oh shit, I wrote this line and I'm trying to remember the context of it.
What was the line?
I think it's grateful that that thing used a fist on me. That sounds so bad.
I think that was Dick saying I was happy. That was probably Dick saying the fact that he just like smacked him instead of scratching him.
Yes. But at the same time, I'm like, again,
Stop.
I know I'm so immature. I'm sorry. I'll be better now. I think that's it.
You'll never be better.
No, I'll never be better. But I'm talking about just the rest of the episode because I don't think there's anything else that sounds, derogatory.
Oh no, I've got something. I actually have notes that I'm going to go there. I'm going to go there later.
Maybe. But it's just funny because I guess I'm glad because Dick actually says that. Glad he used his fist on me because obviously the claws are gonna do the poison stuff, and then so then obviously Dick gets rescued, and then now they're in the Batmobile. He's in the Robin costume, and then it starts to get revealed, obviously, because Dick knows who he took the class of Carlisle last semester or last year or something, and he talked about how yes he has kids, but he was divorced and he didn't have custody of the kids. And then the big twist again.
Oh yeah, Chris and Kelly are girls. I love Lauren Lester's delivery of that line. It's such a great ooh, what a twist kind of line.
That's why I said this could be an M. Night Shyamalan directed episode because so we met the two boys that are the kids, but they're actually girls in real life, and so that just kind of makes you go like, what is this? So then, of course, they return to Ivy's house, and then right at the beginning, they find everything, and then of course they find at first, like we have like the water system, the sprinkler system.
Oh, before that, don't you just love like the really acrobatic way that Robin decides to like jump off the roof? And it's just like, show it off, circus boy.
Yeah, because like we get Robin looking through all the windows and all that stuff, so he's doing all that stuff, and then right before he like. I know. I find that funny too because it was just like as soon as he like wants to do a backflip off the rooftop, he does this whole like presentation where he puts his arms out and then just does like, all right, well, I like that. It's a callback because we know that's where he comes from. So, it's good. It's good. Flying Grayson. There you go. I didn't say the other word. I held back. I almost did. Anyways, so then he does that, and then of course, there's like an insurance thing that Batman's kind of saying when it comes to like tinkering with the water system in the greenhouse, which you don't know exactly what it was, but you're like, okay. And then of course they find the secret entrance down to the creepy lab in the basement. What? Stay in the basement. Oh, anytime you find one of those in a greenhouse, you better believe that's some creepy. God damn, this is where it gets creepy.
Oh my god, because he's looking in the tank, and it's like, oh, I don't know, and then the arms like come out of the tank.
And the arm comes out, and then we find Dr. Carlisle, who's in there, who's just basically just sitting there. He's got a thing on for him to breathe, and then we start realizing what the hell. So, but it gets even creepier than that.
Oh my, the pods.
The pods. These little fucking pods, and it's just like,
and I'm sorry, as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I had to do that impression. I just always when I think about
is that the 80s one? Because I'm thinking
the 80s one.
That's the 80s one. Yeah. I'm thinking of the original 50s one.
Oh, okay. See, I'm thinking of the one with
Donald Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland. Yeah, I'm thinking of that one. Yeah. See, I don't really quite remember the '50s one that much.
See,
But I
I've only
remember
seen
the
the
one.
'50s one.
I think the other one came out in the '70s. To be honest, maybe I don't know. Who knows? But yeah. See, yeah, you should watch the other one. And then of course they did it again with Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman called Invasion. They just
Yeah,
simply called it Invasion.
1978. Yes, for the Donald
1978.
Sutherland
Yeah,
one.
yeah. There you go. I figured it was the '70s, but yeah. Um, but yeah, it's very much got that type of oh my god. When it comes to these babies and mommy, mommy, and it's just like what? And then all of a sudden you see like the little babies in the pods and stuff like that, and then it's revealed that yes, she grew her family, kidnapped Carlisle.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
here's where I got dirty. I was like, oh, Deanie, you dog.
Hmm.
Yes, Carlisle donated certain raw materials. I went, oh, really? That's what we're calling that. Okay.
Oh, let's say Pamela Isley, she used her, her, because, let's face it, we've even commented about young us seeing Poison Ivy and when we were younger going, oh my God, yeah, that's a costume. And, even now, you kind of go like, yeah, so she used her ways of persuasion to lure this guy in and probably, yeah, got some of his seed to create these Cabbage Patch Kids. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
So
my God, you're so right. And of
yeah.
course, then she starts feeding him like that bottles, and then she's
Oh,
like, and then it's like, oh, in that water was a special growth hormone. It'll reduce their lifespan to minutes, but it's longer than you've got.
yeah, exactly. God. So basically, essentially, what we figured out here is the fact that she kidnapped Carlisle, got his seed to work with these plant-based humans that she created. So basically, the two kids, are young versions of Carlisle, and then
They
they
grow into Carlisle.
yeah, they grow into Carlisle, and then they grow into the big, huge monster. And I was like, wow, talk about a cool little twist. But yeah, then all of a sudden she's like, here you go, with this stuff. And then this is the clip. This is, as of right now, Batman and Robin, of course, are, the vines have like strapped them down. So, but then it's just so creepy. And this is where,
so creepy.
yeah, this is where this is the clip I wanted to show right here.
This is when it gets 50B movie.
It totally does. Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, whatever you want, right here.
It costs money to raise a family.
You haven't changed a bit.
Yes, I have.
Look at these kids.
I meant it.
Yeah.
I wanted a family that loves me. I just wanted it on my terms.
I mean, and it was I wanted it on my terms.
Nuts.
You're
That's
nuts.
your opinion.
And look at these
Probably
kids.
the
They're
last
so
one you'll
evil
ever have,
looking.
too.
Ah.
Kids?
Oh no.
That water I
Really?
fed them contained a super
Ah, so
Oh,
creepy.
God.
True, it cuts their
Oh,
lifespan
no.
down to just a few minutes, but that's more time than you've got.
Oh. They got that vein on their chest and ugh.
Oh.
Look at
And then
that.
you got like 3 of those. Oh my God.
Yeah.
They totally Hulk out right there.
Big time.
And man, I love how I love how Batman grabs the electrical wiring.
Right? Like, all right, use some electricity. Why not? I know how to use these things.
I know, right? Then of course, I love it when we get up here and we start to realize because those have got to be like the kids that were in the house.
Yep, that's what Dick just said right there too.
Stay with Carlisle.
And bam, backup plan.
Oh yeah, prep time.
Mm-hmm.
I love the fact we actually saw prep time happen.
Right?
Anyone else want their weeds whacked?
Good line.
It
Come
is
on,
a good
that's
line.
Hey, there we go. Never skip leg day. Dun, dun, dun. So good.
Oh.
Oh no! And then you're like, why would water hurt plants?
Oh.
And then they all start melting away. Oh, there you go. And then
I
you're
love
like,
how she even She even does like the little thing and then goes weed killer.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh, he put weed killer in the sprinkler system. My God, there's Batman just using that noggin of his.
I will say this though, the last twist of the episode, I forgot.
Dude, I totally did too. I'm telling you, Shyamalan, this probably could be his favorite episode if he ever, if you were to watch this, because not only had we had the twist about the whole family, all of a sudden, guess who starts melting away too? Poison Ivy. She starts, because she's not real either. It's like, what? Jesus Christ. Crazy. She replicated herself. Man.
I could have cloned myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man. And he's just like, Batman's like, what the hell? Totally just, he got a little outsmarted a little bit by Pamela. I'll give it to Pamela. Like, she was ahead of Batman pretty much through this whole episode, even though Batman rescued and solved the whole thing, but she was always a little bit ahead of him. And it's just pretty crazy, like how she escaped. She got away with this whole thing.
Yeah. But did she?
No.
Because man, that look at her on the plane with the photo album, and you realize, wow, she legitimately she enjoyed the family. Well,
she enjoyed the family, and I love the photo book has like Harley in it.
Yes, with the exact same shots we saw from Harley and Ivy.
Yeah, it was like, who the hell is taking those pictures? But cool, But yeah, it's again. Like we were talking about, like what we've talked about many times when it comes to episodes of Batman the Animated Series, is you get some sympathy for some of these villains. It's like, okay, yeah, you're batshit crazy lady, but at the same time, you go, oh, she just wanted a family on her own terms, and those are definitely her own terms.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Harvey Dent. Also in her photo book too. Yes, thank you, Pretty Fly. Yeah. So, and then she's just, she's got like, of course, the hat with like the little veil thing on. So she's just kind of like doing that whole thing, and just you see the tear hit the photo,
the wedding photo.
Yeah, and you're just like, aw, she just But at the same time, it's like, yeah, but don't kidnap people and take their stuff and then make pod people. Maybe don't do that. Maybe just actually try to start a family. Obviously she can't because, what we'd already talked about. But then at the same time, it's like, well, there's always adoption. there's many things to do to where you don't have to grow
plant
children. Yes, exactly. That turn into hideous
cactus monsters.
But yeah, this episode was great.
It's a great episode. It's a fantastic episode.
Yeah. Really great episode. So yeah, I think we pretty much covered it right there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we did a good job. What do we got next week?
The Terrible Trio.
The Terrible Trio. Man, I'm trying to remember that one when I hear the names, but then if I see the title card or get it like a little bit of like,
if you just see the key art on HBO Max, you'll probably go, oh yeah, that episode. Okay. Yeah, it's a fine. It's one of those episodes that's like, it's fine.
It's fine.
I'll be interested to go back and give it a rewatch to see what I think about it on rewatch.
I'm trying to look here. Let's see. Bane, second. Baby. Where is it at here?
It's towards the bottom.
Okay. Yep. The masks.
Yeah, the masks.
The masks that they are like, the head gear that they wear. Yeah. Okay. I remember. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm starting to remember. According to Mr. Venom, it's one of his favorites. Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Okay. Well, we'll be talking about that next week. And we appreciate you guys spending time talking about House and Garden, which just a fantastic M. Night Shyamalan, Stay Out of the Basement, R.L. Stine Goosebumps episode. And I really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed it. And hopefully you guys enjoyed it too. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead and promote yourself.
Of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast at DC Squadcast, wherever podcasts can be found. We're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com.
There it is. And make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when we're doing this stuff. And yes, I'll see you guys tomorrow on Film Junkie Live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, talking about the recent news of everything that's happening, hopefully, when it comes to DC films, all that stuff. And yeah, guys, if you want to join the Patreon, it's all down there. All the links are provided down below. Everything is there. We love you, and we'll see you guys next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, or maybe 10 minutes earlier next week. All right, talk to you later.